görür sonu ağır şehir. Gök kurşuni hava yapışkan, uykunun kıyısında dalgalarda. Gözsüz güneşler yakıyor otları, sinekler cama vurup duruyor. Tek dostum onlar, görüyorsun canım yanıyor, ona muhtacım. Keşke hiç gitmese uzağa, tavandaki pervaneyi izliyorum. O benim avucumun içinde, sonsuzca öylece, kimse sevemez böyle. Benim o mühürlendim, kimsenin bilmesine gerek yok, sadece o ben. Evdeyim, tabağı hazır ama süzülüyor her gün biraz daha.
20 years, 5 countries, and he still found a way to send one letter. Sealed under legal privilege. We can't touch it. Which means whoever it's for was more important to him than avoiding another 20 years in a cell.
I keep waiting to feel like it's over. I don't think I'm done losing.
Kamal's in custody. That's a victory. It is not the end of the pipeline. I don't want anyone in this room treating it like one.
What's the priority now?
Whoever he wrote that sealed letter to, a man like that doesn't spend his last free hour writing to someone important.
So he finally lost. 20 years of insisting he could build something I couldn't. I suppose I should feel something more than mild disappointment.
Get me eyes on the daughter. It's time she learned the difference of her father's architecture and mine.
You could stop here. Award-winning series, founder in custody.
The way, piece of the way. They know exactly who it is.
There was a traffic accident report, 2004. I sussed the closure paperwork myself as a young officer.
Why does that matter now?
Kan det vara difficult enough for it. You want a technique to say in training curriculum? Kamal once told me he ended it from better than he'd ever be. I assumed it modesty.
You don't think it was... I think Kamal spent 20 years trying to prove he wasn't just a student who never surpassed his teacher.
But clearing built it before Cater ever touched a ledger. You're saying this predates the network we've been chasing? 20 years before Kamal ever needed a fake identity for his own daughter's case.
Aslan says there was never a confirmed body. Your father handled the identification personally.
I was 12, so...
I remember this funeral. You were saying we now agree. I'm saying I don't leave you.
Do not intercept the investigation. Do not obstruct it. Let them find at the accident file. I want the daughter to arrive at the truth through her own competence, not through a trap she can set.
If Alkin gets there first, then he'll understand exactly what kind of family he's actually protecting her from. If we're doing this, Leaf needs to be told every step before it happens, not...
Agreed. She's earned that much.
I built cases on a lot of terrible things in 20 years, Aaron. I don't think I've ever built one on whether a woman is actually buried in her own grave.
This file has a restriction marker. I need supervisor approval to release it.
Who placed the restriction?
There's no name, just a departmental code from 20 years ago.
That code is going to be the whole story, isn't it?
What did he say to you?
I wondered if anyone would ever come back to this.
Remember, staged records and swept of ancient tons, although the fate towards that fire. Direct treachery.
For what it's worth, the restriction was renewed twice since the original filing.
Once in 2011. 15 years that.
So not a cover-up that ended. That's a cover-up that's still...
The journalist found the restriction markers already.
Faster than I expected, even accounting how good she's proven to be.
Let her keep going. I'd rather the whole story be told correctly than told slowly. Accuracy has always mattered more to me than concealment.
Same face, same name.
The dental records used for identification don't match your mother's actual dentist. They're from a different provider entirely.
That's not sloppy. That's someone who ran out of time to finish covering their tracks perfectly. My mother is not in that grave.
Does this name mean anything to you?
That firm handled document security for my very first contact in this business back in 1640.
Who was the contact?
Only ever knew her by a title. She called herself the Ledger.
The dental archive went to a private storage firm in 25. Same firm that held records for 2 other cases connected to the pipeline.
Celine's network. or older, this transfer had Priscilla.
I need to say this plainly. If we find her, Elif, you cannot be the one who makes the arrest. Not legally, and not for your own sake.
I know.
Because everything about this case so far suggests your family solves personal problems by making them institutional ones.
The ledger, then everything my father built was never his. It was an inheritance.
Or a debt he never finished paying off.
Either way, I need to find her before this case turns her into a ledger instead of a person I can actually stand in front of.
The ledger.
That fits. Whoever designed that elevated layer accountant intend the core anything to bring our team clean in the big light to the visible cope and Sunday soon.
New piece. There was a ledger. I don't have a name yet, only the proprietor. Is she alive?
Yes.
Why did you let me bury her?
Because the alternative was telling a 12-year-old that her mother chose the architecture over her family, and I decided that lie was kinder than the truth. Kamal used to say something about his wife back when I was young in the department. They were still married in public. He said, "She taught me everything I know about patience. I only learned that were useful to me." I think he was talking about a debt he spent 20 years trying to pay off by building something bigger than what she gave him. Her name is Nazli. She built the first version everything ever built. I was her best student before I was ever your father.
Why did she leave the work?
She said I'd made the architecture smaller than she designed it to be, safer. She wanted something larger than one country's corruption.
Nazli Aydin, presumed dead 2004, now believed alive, operating internationally over the entire structure we've spent 5 episodes dismantling.
You're saying Kamel was never in climbing a ladder for months, and we just found out it has another rung.
The storage firm's parent company is registered in the same country your episode source is flagged as the letter's destination.
As
confirmed as 6 shell layers ever get. But yes, whoever received Kamel's letter and whoever owns this storage firm are almost certainly the same operation.
Drive your content in as much as you can recall.
Composed, precise, spoke like someone who had finishing other people's sentences, but only when she already agreed with where they're going. I remember thinking she was the most patient person I'd ever met.
I remember her hands more than her face. Steady. Always steady, even when I was falling apart about something small. I used to think that that's patience. I think now it might have just been work.
Every technique Kamel ever used, going back to the earliest transactions I can trace, is a simplified version of something more elegant. He inherited and dilated.
That's a strong claim.
It's the only explanation that fits. Whoever taught him built he was never quite smart enough to improve.
I called Elif before I write this. She said publish it. Her exact words were, "The public deserves the truth as much as I do."
That's a lot of trust in a journalist for someone who's lost this much privacy already.
I know. I don't intend to waste it. They found the storage firm faster than I expect. Layla Demir is genuinely talented.
Should be concerned.
I built my daughter to be exactly this thorough. Concern would be a strange reaction to watching my own design work correctly.
Kamal staged an abdication. Sealan staged an emergency channel. I need you to consider that whatever your mother does next might also stage specifically for you. I know that better than anyone in this building.
No, this one I need to face myself. But you can stand closer than 30 meters. 22 years of being a ghost, and a journalist my daughter trusts finally says my name out loud. I always assumed exposure would feel like losing. It isn't. It's like finishing our started before Elif could talk. It's time we finished it properly. Ms. Demir, thank you for the accuracy of your reporting. I would like to offer you the first interview on the condition that my daughter reads it before anyone else does.
That's not a threat.
No, it's the first request in this entire case that actually sounds like it's asking permission.
We need this done properly this time. Full jurisdictional cooperation, no off-book meetings, no blackout windows.
That's gonna take days to arrange at this level.
Then it takes days. I'm done sending my people into rooms with no way to pull them out.
Prosecutor's office sent a formal commendation for your assistance. It won't reduce your sentence, but it's on record. It doesn't need to reduce anything. I just needed it to be true somewhere official once, even if it was 20 years too late for it to matter to the people it should have mattered to.
She's asking permission. My father never once asked permission for anything his entire life.
Maybe that's the difference between them.
Kindness is just leverage with better manners. I want the interview, but I want to be in the room when it happens. This is the strangest interview prep of my career. My subject is my source's mother, and my source is standing next to me deciding whether to forgive her.
I haven't decided anything yet.
I've just decided to walk into the room and find out what there was to decide.
Then let's go.
No security visual, no recording restrictions. Let the journalist bring whatever equipment she wants.
That's a significant risk.
The risk isn't the interview. The risk was always going to be the moment my daughter walks through that door and has to decide whether to believe anything I say at all.
Full comms throughout. If contact drops for more than 5 minutes, local authorities move in immediately. No 30-minute grace period this time.
You learned that lesson in hard way.
I learned it 3 times. I'm not interested in 4th.
This building's 400 years old. She didn't just hide here. She built something meant to last. That sounds like her, from what little I actually remember.
Ready?
No, but I wasn't ready for any of the other doors either, and I walked through those too. Elif, you look like you've had to come very strong very quickly. I'm sorry I wasn't there to teach you an easier way to do it. I'm not here for an apology. I know. You're here for the truth. I can give you that instead. I'll ask what she wants asked, but I'm also asking what you need asked, even if it's not something I'd normally put in print. Ask her why she let me bury her today.
You could wait.
I've spent this whole season watching everyone else's version of my family from behind glass. Not this time.
She's not performing calm the way Kamel performed it. This is just how she actually is. That might be more dangerous at less. A person who doesn't need to perform control has probably never lost it.
For the record, are you the person known with the network as the Ledger? Yes, that. Why fake your death? Because by then, my husband had turned something I designed a scalpel into a using careful, somewhere he couldn't reach it. Take me with you. You could have told me the truth when I was old enough to understand it. You're right. Instead, you let me cry at a funeral. I never old for a woman who was alive the entire time. I could never figure out how to take my dog with me without destroying the cover that kept us both alive. I designed the original architecture as a way to quietly redirect actually with no budget. That's not what it became. No, Trail saw the hism, understood only the theft, and he kept the scalpel. He threw away the reason I built it.
If half of what she's saying about redirected funds is documentable, this isn't a simple prosecution anymore. This is going to be the most complicated case of my career. Does that change the plan?
No.
It just means the plan needs to be exactly right.
Did you create the academy recruitment pipeline? I created the concept. I then put in risker than a broken institution could offer. Kamel corrupted the end, recruiting eventually Elif herself through invitation. That was never how I designed it to work. That concludes what I need on record. Thank you for your candor.
Thank you for the patience with a story that must have been difficult to keep believing all the way through.
I'll give the three of you the room. Some of this isn't mine to be present for anymore.
Every architect in this case has offered Elif something that sounded reasonable right up until it cost her everything. Why is it a fair question, Detective?
The honest answer is that it might not. They'd only tell you my intention. I can't make you believe it. I'm not asking you to inherit anything, Elif. I'm asking you to help me finish what they're designed that they're actually meant to do good. You're asking me to trust an architecture built by family that 2 seasons lying to me. I'm asking you to trust yourself to the difference between the version I built and the version he broke. The night before I disappeared, I sat outside your door for 2 hours deciding whether to wake you and take you with me.
Why didn't you?
Because your father would have found us within a year and I would have spent the rest of your childhood running instead of building something where you got a stable, normal life first. I've rehearsed this conversation for 22 years, Elif. I don't think any version of it prepared me for how much it would actually hurt to finally have it.
Then stop rehearsing. Just talk to me like you're actually my mother.
I used to visit your grave every year on your birthday. I talked to you like you could hear me. I know, I had someone me check on yourself. You watch someone that survive her father. I will regret the method for the rest of my life.
This is the strangest story I've ever covered. A crime family that keeps turning out to be underneath everything. Just a family.
Everyone makes it this case as well as a delivery
You think that's what's happening in there right now?
I hope it isn't, for Elif's sake.
Port smuggling network broken up by the state roughly 70 years ago. If they're surviving benefactor from that era, they'd be well over 9.
Anymore. It's institutions that inherited a range of...
That's the actual root of this entire tree. Everything else has just been branches. Kamal's grandfather ran a smuggling network through the Zaneport's Emirat eventually viewed. One day it's finally break with fairly law.
Kamal was paying off his grandfather's debt this whole time.
And I married into paying it with him without ever being told the term. There's something you need to know before you leave. Something more urgent than any of this.
What?
Kamal wasn't protecting the pipeline out of loyalty to me. He was protecting it because he made a promise to someone even from her family history, a debt older than either of us. There's another layer.
That port. My grandfather worked those docks as a young man. He used to tell stories about a woman, not a man, who'd be playing the reg voice. It's the same woman. I think that port has someone's quiet kid him for a very time, and none of us ever thought to ask why it was always she in the old stories, not a he.
There's an older debt, Kamal's grandfather, a benefactor who's been owed loyalty for 3 generations.
That's not a network anymore. That's what I'm afraid of. The benefactor is the debt passed to someone else entirely. We're not looking at the top of anything. We're not one more floor in a building that might not have a roof.
You have your grandmother's handwriting. I never noticed until just now watching you take...
I don't remember her at all.
I'll tell you what I actually know about her sometime. When there's less of an empire collapsing around us.
Sometime, not today.
Today's plenty already.
This holding company has been renamed 4 times in 70 years, but the tax registry change in the listed director has always been a woman generation.
Can you trace current...
Give me a day. Whoever's this patient left exactly 1/3 that 70 years of rebranding. I want to be the one who finally pulls it.
That's not just a company. That's one of the largest private philanthropic institutions in the country. Fund hospitals.
Mothers hiding in plane chairs, doing mixed-wood culturalist monies.
I'm saying we may have just found something too big and too beloved for any of us to safely accuse.
I know this name.
From the case?
No. From 4 years ago, I did a profile on this company as a philanthropic success story before any of this ever started. I called them the good guys in that piece. I think I need to write a correction. Records going back to the year I inherited this. It's incomplete. She never listened to anyone outside our bloodline has ever had access to. Why help now? Because I spent 30 years her calling it my own choice. I'd like to finally stand in a room and tell her out loud that it wasn't.
3 generations of women. I took this case as a single detective's badger and an arrest in an airport. It's turned into a century of deciding mothers what their daughters would inherit, whether they consented or not. Yes, we're too deep to stop for anything less than the actual root of this now.
There's a second set of books, same holding structure, completely separate ledger, moving roughly triple what the public reports show. You're saying the financiation is real, but it isn't rooting behind the charity. It's just also the most visible room in a house 3 generations of the same family.
We do not breathe a word of this outside this room until we have something undeniable. If we're wrong, or if we right can't prove it cleanly,
This case dies and it takes us to prove it.
and that this becomes the case that finally reaches the top of the ladder we've been climbing since episode 1.
My great-grandmother's grandslaughter is standing in this room. My grandmother is still out there running a beloved foundation, having designed my entire life before. Hold off complexity, Elif. Nothing that's level is ever only one thing.
Then we find out exactly which parts were real and which parts were always the cover. Nasli's mother designs the marriage. Nasli builds architecture. Kemal executes it and recruits Selin. Elif. It's not a pyramid. It's not even a family tree. It's one woman's planning 3 generations deep, and every single person it thought they were making my own choices.
My mother chose Kamel for me, Elif. Not romantically, structurally. She needed somewhere in the end that alien. She designed my tours, my Vinat. We had the exact circumstance you'd be born into needing a inherit all of it. Correction draft. 4 years ago, I called this foundation an ubiquitous force for good. I was not lied to maliciously. That's the most uncomfortable sentence I've ever had to write, and I've written about a man who staged his own kidnapping. If we're doing this, we need to be very careful what we say in rooms we don't control from this point forward. You're afraid of her. I've been afraid of her since I was younger than you are now. I built entire architecture and faked my husband's deaths to ensure I actually escaped her design. I think I just moved to a different room inside it.
I know this name.
From where? I think this was the woman at my mother's funeral who cried harder than anyone else in the room. I remember thinking I didn't know who she was. It was instant. It was exactly what my stage death actually meant for the family's plans.
9 board members, all publicly respected, all clean on paper.
Except one. Didn't trust you, or else you've thrown a flyer.
That's her.
It's Naslie's mother.
That's Ilif's grandmother.
That's the person we've actually been chasing since an airport arrest in episode 1.
Part 1 doesn't name her yet. It names the Shadow Ledger holding company the pattern. That's enough to start the public conversation without giving her time to disappear before Mehmet's team is ready. I've learned to pace the truth this season. This is the last time I'll need to.
We have a name. We have Baran's Shadow Ledger. We have Naslie's history with her. That's more we've had against anyone else in this entire case.
I know.
But we've walked into every room this season more prepared than the person waiting for us. Let's do one more time, and let's do that, make it the last time.
This is not the villa. This is not the lake house. If we move on this foundation without an airtight case, they will have this entire investigation buried in litigation with it.
We wait.
We wait exactly as long as to be right, because this is the last confrontation of this case, and I intend for it to actually be the last one.
The journalist is careful. She's leaving my name out, which means she doesn't have my confirmed yet. She's
He's likely at the source.
Of my sort, she is. I taught her to be thorough. I suppose I should be flattered it's finally thorough enough to end with way.
My grandfather's port, your Shadow Ledger trace. 3 generations of the same family, and neither of us ever thought to ask why it was always run by the woman. Feels strange. Everything about this case since the day they go woman I thought at an airport. Turns out none of us understood anyone.
I'll testify. Everything. My training, my marriage, how deep her reach actually goes, including the parts about you, Navy. Why now, after 30 years, you're strong enough to ask me that question directly, and I don't have a good answer for continuing to protect her instead of you. Not anymore. Not ever again. Part 2. The name is out. 70 years of quiet influence, 3 generations of one family, and by tomorrow the entire country will know it, everything this investigation has uncovered. I started this chasing anonymous comment on arrest story. I never imagined it would end with someone's own grandmother.
Shadow Ledger, direct testimony from her own daughter. This is air pride away, nothing else back 70 has been.
We move.
We move, carefully, going all at once. She's had 7 years to prepare for anyone who got this close. We don't get a second attempt, and I don't intend to need one.
Once we move on her, there's no version of any of our lives stays hidden anymore. Not the good parts, not the parts we're ashamed of. Then we make sure the good family has to disappear into being only the worst thing they ever did. Not you, not her. You really did become someone remarkable, despite all of us.
20 years. I always assumed exposure would come eventually. I simply didn't expect to take a granddaughter I'd got properly raised.
Instructions? Let them come.
I spent entire life building something meant to survive being seen. Today we find out once for all if I was right.
Full team, full comms, full legal authority this time. No blackout windows, no stage theater.
She'll know that. She'll respect it more than he's been. Let's go meet the person who designed the family that designed me. Last time. For all of us.
All units confirm position.
Question.
70 years of one woman's patience against everything this case has built across 5 episodes. Let's see once and for all which one actually outlasts the other.
Nasli, you look other than I reacted. And you must have granddaughter. I'm waiting to about 4 nights to finally meet properly.
You know who was before you were born, child.
I helped design the very idea of you.
She's expecting you. All 3 of you by name.
She knew we were coming today specifically. Of course she did. She's never once been surprised by anything in entire life. That's the whole foundation of how she built everything, including us. Perihan Güzeloglu, founding trustee of this foundation for mother to years, for grandmother to you.
And the port 7 years ago.
I darested less than I lace any of them. Exactly what I was building. Institutions fail people, Detective Alkan. Slowly, reliably doing that out 70 years build on. By controlling where is merged tread everyone else. You cannot honestly say the hospitals I've funded aren't real. Your father's leverage over Mirkai, the pressure that put you undercover and his arrested that started this accident of it would eventually require of you. I engineered you strong enough that made you angry enough to wade into this conversation since you were truth from me. You helped design the idea of me. What does that actually mean? I decided caution I begin before I even bone. I gave you a better option than the one you're that for. Every undercover assignment, every night I thought I was choosing to survive. Every time told myself I was the one making the impossible choice. You wrote all of it. You wrote my whole life like a case will. That distinction matters more than you're willing to hear right now, and I understand why.
My father never mentioned saving anyone.
He wouldn't have. He wasn't the kind of man who kept score.
I was just assigned of case by accident, or even by Kadir's order. I was chosen for life, the same as he was.
I still believe that, looking you both right now. Detective Alkan, you've spent this entire case believing built onto a career control. He dad worked. Every matter every day.
Say you're mean.
Quietly, we never exist. This is a transfer of controlling trusteeship, filed legally binding. You leave French every 4 day free to for sign you not. I made you peak for what the actually becomes next. Today, it finally is. I won't resist, prosecutor. I've had 70 years to prepare for this exact afternoon. I only ever wondered which generation would finally be capable enough to bring it about. It seems fitting that it was mine and yours together.
Perihan Güzeloglu, you're being detained pending formal charges related to financial crimes, institutional corruption, and obstruction spanning multiple decades.
You passed her well, faster than I expected anyone in this generation could manage, and more fairly than I expect anyone to bother.
I spent 30 years afraid of her and 30 years grateful to her at the same time. I don't know how to feel now that both of those things are finished. No, I suppose I don't. That might be the first time in my life someone's told me that and meant it kindly instead of as a strategy. Perihan Güzeloglu, in custody. 3 generations of a family built to serve a design none of them fully chose until today. I don't think this is actually the end of what this family will become. I think, for the first time in this whole story, it might finally be a real beginning instead.
70 years, 3 granderations, and it ends with a granddaughter who refused to bring us back to So how he served Jelt's built log's daughter now instead of everyone's evidence. I think finally she actually might. She built both of us into this, my whole career, your whole life. No, It changes how I feel about anyone. It doesn't change what we actually still we were standing in the same room.
Because I don't want to spend one more day wondering which parts of my life were real.
Turns out none of us were ever really choosing anything. All the way back to a fishing port, none of us was what we did once we finally knew the truth. Easier for now at 8 years, because the first time I know exactly what I was actually part of, and I know it's finally over.
I could burn it, walk away from every share, every building with my grandmother's name quietly behind it. I could do the one thing nobody in this family has ever actually tried. Keep it and make every part of it as honest as the part that funds Hospicrit. Not with my name on it.
70 years of financial crimes, 3 generations of course easy to reach. I'm closing because Gazuka prosecutors been responsible and actually responsible in nearly everything broken in this city's shadows for half a century.
How does that feel?
Like the first case I've actually finished.
Working title, what the architecture was actually for. Not corruption, not entirely. Love controlled tightly enough. She was wrong about the control. I think in the end, Elif proved she might have been right about the love. I don't know how to have a normal conversation with you. We've never actually had one.
Then let's have our first one.
No case file, do some true.
See, that wasn't so hard.
22 years of being the ledger. I think I'd like to just be Elif's mother for whatever time I actually have left. That title never came with an architecture attached. I think that's exactly why I never let myself want it. My family built something powerful by keeping it hidden. I intend to keep what's actually good about it, and I intend to make sure nothing about it ever again. Yes, that includes my own inheritance. Especially architecture only stays honest if the person at the top has nothing left to hide. Do you think we'll ever stop looking over our shoulders?
Eventually. Not today, but eventually.
Good. I've spent my whole life living someone else's double life. I'd like to just live mine, single and plain and mine for a while.